Hi, I'm Sue Coyne, leadership and team coach and author of Stop Doing, Start Leading, How to Shift from Doing the Work Yourself to Becoming a Great Leader. In this series of sound bites, I explore the topic of sustainable leadership. Soundbite 1 is about what is sustainable leadership and why does it matter. When you search for sustainable leadership on Google, there's a lot of information about environmental sustainability. When I refer to sustainable leadership, I'm looking at it from the people perspective. It's leadership that delivers sustainable high performance through creating the conditions in which everyone thrives, thereby ensuring that the organisation and all of its stakeholders experience sustainable success. It requires a particular mindset based on the following beliefs. Organisations and the people in them are living systems, and they do not operate in isolation. Organisations have multiple stakeholders, all of whom need to benefit from its activities. So why does sustainable leadership matter? 100 years later, we're back where we were, a new world struggling with an old structure that's no longer fit for purpose. If businesses want to be successful, they need to be authentic, genuine and real. This is a quote from Sir Bob Geldof, who was keynote speaker at a conference on trust that I attended in London in October 2014. I was struck by this pattern of getting stuck in an old view of the world that's no longer appropriate, and then finding it difficult to shift, because I'd personally experienced this in my own life, and maybe you have too. Sir Bob explained that in the 19th century it took 2 world wars to shift our perspective to one appropriate for the 20th century. And we're now 17 years into the 21st century, yet many of our institutions, including our organisations and their leaders, are stuck in a 20th century mindset. What's it going to take for us to shift to a perspective appropriate to the 21st century? And what does this mean for the shift we need to make as leaders? Perhaps you're a leader in an organisation. Maybe you're a leader outside of work, but there's no maybe about whether you're the leader of your own life. How many of us pay attention to how sustainable our approach to leading our own life is? Very often it takes a wake-up call to bring the message home. Having had cancer and burnout myself in 2000, followed shortly afterwards by divorce, I've personally experienced the impact that these sort of wake-up calls have on your life. Following the sale of the business that I was a director and shareholder of in 2002, I retrained as a coach so that I could support other leaders in finding a way to be successful without having the sort of wake-up call I had. So that's why sustainable leadership matters to me personally. Let's examine why it matters from the bigger picture perspective. The 20th century view of the world sees organisations as machines and people as cogs inside them. This mechanistic mindset is based on the notion that profit is king, and the purpose of businesses is to maximise profit for the owners and shareholders. This way of thinking dates from Adam Smith and other 19th century economists who ushered in the Industrial Revolution. It produces hierarchical organisations where superhero leaders use IQ, authority and a command and control style to get the cogs in the machine to do what they deem to be necessary for maximising profit. This approach has enabled unprecedented growth and innovation, but it's reached the limit of its effectiveness due to globalisation, the ever-increasing pacing change, the impact of technology, widespread use of social media giving customers and other stakeholders more influence, the changing needs of employees, with generations X and Y expecting engagement and fulfilment at work. In my opinion, sustainable leadership is what's required to take us into the 21st century. So take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, why does sustainable leadership matter to me? If you want to know more about becoming a sustainable leader, get my book, Stop Doing, Start Leading, How to Shift from Doing the Work Yourself to Becoming a Great Leader. It's available on Amazon or on my website, suecoyne.com.